guys, and welcome back. Maddie and I, we were just talking earlier this week. We got some pretty crazy hate comments. Maybe they're in
Yeah.
love with us. I don't know. Maddie like texted me and she's like, go to the YouTube comments. Like we should answer some of them. So I look and I'm like, oh my God, Maddie, you have to go look at this user's name. And apparently we are not only your like two favorite podcast hosts, but we're like your two favorite fours that you've ever seen.
Yes. Yes. And it's like funny because there were like two different things. First,
Yep.
one which is not as not the most we got comments on, but I recently talked about like why I got into gun safety, owning a
Yep.
gun, concealed carry license. And a guy commented because the premise of it was like a lot of men won't understand how women just can't live without thinking about they might get attacked. And that's like the
Right.
reality.
And
And yeah,
men just often live in this bubble of
utopia.
like, yeah, like nothing's bad gonna happen to me. It's like white male syndrome. Like, oh, it's fine, like blah blah blah. And it's like,
Mhm.
don't you are totally there is a disconnect, and this comment was a prime example of the disconnect.
Yeah, and he said, and we will show it here. And women will never understand being on the man's side in divorce or custody. And I could totally understand because I have heard, not from my own experience, that men have a different battle when it comes to custody and divorce and things like that. But go figure, a guy would comment something to make themselves a victim on this. And it's like apples to oranges. That's what we're talking about here. Apples to oranges.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry you struggle with whatever you're dealing with, and most comments on anything to anyone are really just like projections and what people are dealing with and how they're viewing your opinion, your situation through their lens.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was my thoughts on that.
Yeah. And as we talked about in that episode, like they will truly never understand. And this is that just that prime example of never understanding and can't even fathom. Whereas we could fathom the situation of custody battles being hard and going to divorce court is hard. We can sit here and totally sympathize. We maybe can't empathize because we haven't been in that situation, but we can talk about it and be open and not be like, "Oh yeah, fuck you, whatever." But to come
Mhm.
like in the comment section, and also we talk a lot. We have long episodes. You're sitting there and watching the whole episode and then shitting on it? Like, did we get our first hate watcher? Because like I think that's kind of iconic. Like, we're not talking for 5 minutes. They said, I'm gonna sit down and watch this podcast. And I see that it's over an hour. And then I'm gonna take my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Whatever,
Yeah. It's
Just
good for the views.
so good for the views. Please keep commenting how much you despise us. The
Mm-hmm.
second area we got a lot episode was the two thumbs down Tom Segura episode. What was that, 20? Um,
Yeah, 20. Yep.
yes. And I can understand why a lot of men were up in arms about this because it all came down to, and this is something I'm sure I talked about this on my Instagram recently about these comments specifically, where some people really struggle to see the nuance in things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so black and white to a lot of people. Literally, majority of our world is screwed up as it is because people struggle to see nuance. And when it came to that topic, which we were talking about obesity and like how Tom Segura's comments about some creators, how they were kind of like poking fun at them for talking about making things more inclusive for people of different sizes, and we were saying like, okay, for starters, they can do what they want. And secondly, like obesity is not just you're eating too much food, you're not burning enough, and
Mm-hmm.
people love to assume it is one thing. And for Allie and I, we don't see it that way. There are so many other factors that get someone to this point that, yeah, of course, they're probably eating a little bit too much food over time, but there are many other things that come into play. And a lot of the comments were just getting freaking mad that we don't see it as just they're eating too much food, they're putting too much food in their pie hole. Like, I'm sorry that we are better educated and refuse to see things as one issue,
Mm-hmm.
because believe it or not, that makes us really good coaches, that we're willing to look at this is happening. You're stressed out here. Your hormones are a mess there. This happened a long time ago, or maybe something happened in your past that you aren't even comfortable to share with anyone yet. And that is why you are doing the things that you're doing with your health now. So I think people get pissed off that we can't be like, we are this side and this side only, because
Mm-hmm.
that's just like not how health works.
No. And to expand on that, that's really not how a lot of life issues should be looked at. There are a handful of things that, are not nuanced, don't need to be debated. They are what they are. But when you're talking about like obesity in general, having these people that have no idea what they're talking about, they're unqualified, they're just like hater ass bitches being like, calories in, calories out. You choose the body you live in. It's like, okay, all
Those
right.
were good
And like,
ones.
I'm like, dude, like, no one asked you first for your opinion. But great, comment it here.
Hmm.
And, Maddie and I have both been in health situations where it felt like there was no control over our
Hmm.
body, right? Like we've been in those positions. We work with women who have felt like they lost that control. And so it doesn't matter if you are so fucking diligent with calories in, calories out. There are bigger issues most of the time at play. And the real reason why they were mad is because we came after their boy, Tom Segura. If you talk about any like manosphere guy, like if you bring up like Joe
Hmm.
Rogan or Tom Segura, um, just two that are coming to the top of my head, people that the white men get upset and then they get
Hmm.
all emotional and they're, oh, women are emotional. No, man, you in my comments right now, you are emotional. And it's just like so funny because where they say we cannot, we are not allowed to be nuanced, it's like you could use a dose of that because like you realize what you're commenting, like it just like there's no thinking going on. And again,
Hmm.
it was a long podcast, so it just makes me like lol because you're sitting here commenting this and like it's a long podcast, like
Hmm.
what are you doing? Like I am so dead. Or they're going through the timestamps, like what? I don't,
Maybe.
it's silly.
Yeah.
I love because the truth is like it doesn't really dysregulate me because
No.
the reality is it's like, okay, keyboard warrior, like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
coming, you're commenting these like weird ass things thinking that like it's going to affect us when like this is why we do this podcast, because we want to share our thoughts and our opinions and we want to provide a space for women to know that their health, mental health, physical health is not black and white. And we get that. And so it's just like, of
Yeah.
course, these people
Th-
coming in.
They some of the comments kind of reminded me of like bro coaches that
Yes.
refuse to like truly understand like health, women's health, hormones, cortisol, trauma, like
Yep.
things stored in the body, and they're just like eat boiled chicken, or whatever chicken,
Yep.
and broccoli and no seasonings and white rice. Like,
Yep.
that's the kind of vibe I got. And
Yeah.
if that's the kind of coach you want, like, that's not us.
No, no, because I was literally having this conversation with a client. I was like, I'm never going to tell someone, a client, I'm not going to do it myself, just eating like dry ass chicken, white rice, steamed vegetables. To me, that doesn't work. It doesn't vibe. It's not realistic. I'm not going to go through my life hating the food that I'm putting into my body just because I feel like that's the way to do it. And with so many guys and guy coaches and that sort of stuff, like they can stop looking at beer and lose 5 pounds. And so like
Mhm.
they can be really strict on a diet and then like drink like a 30 rack on the weekend and then just get back to their strict diet and they're just like, yeah, whatever, like it's not that hard. And it's like, okay, well, if you took a second to like understand like female hormones and like looking at so many things at play, we have to be nuanced. We can't just be like, all right, here's your like bro science and go with
Mhm.
it.
No, no. If we do, I don't know why this just like came into my head. If we
Yeah.
do a Halloween specific
Mm.
podcast, we should be like bro coaches. I'm like thinking like
Ah!
super I'm thinking like what's her face from Kim Possible who I wanted to be last year?
Oh, she go?
Shigo, or like a bro coach. Both are
Yeah.
great options. Both are great
Both are
options.
great. Oh my gosh. It is, oh my God. Because that isn't that the scariest thing of them all.
Yes.
Having like a guy coach that, and I've never worked with a coach that is a man in respect of like my health,
Oh, I
because
did.
unless you're like really, one, you have to be like really respectful. I have to get a good vibe from you, and you have to be qualified, right? I'm not just gonna hire like any old dude because like he has like a six pack and I'm like, oh wow, he has a good body. Like he could help me get a good body.
Mhm.
So oh, that would be so funny. Oh my God, can you imagine the fits? The moment. Oh my God, I die.
No, I agree. But yeah, we wanted to just touch on that real quick because we are nuanced people. We
Yes.
see between the lines, and that's what makes us better coaches. So if that triggers you, it makes you super upset that we can't be like obesity people are just fat, like sorry, like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like if you are looking at fatness through the lens of like, it's bad, it's your fault, it's gross, like you are just fat phobic, and like that's not the energy we're bringing. Like we work with women who want to better their health, and that doesn't mean they're going to look one way. They don't, it's not like a one size fits all operation we do over here. So I
Mhm.
think those comments just highlight how deep we go with our clients, how much of a
Mhm.
range of people that we work with on not just weight loss or getting stronger. We work through a lot of tough shit that like happens behind the scenes that
Mhm.
results in getting the client to their goal, right? Because like it's
Mhm.
not all like sexy and fun and easy and just like calories in, calories out and fat loss foods and all this bullshit. Like it's a lot of work. It's your health. It's not just like
Yeah.
checking off fucking boxes. So I liked those comments again because it gives us the opportunity to just like express and continue to express like the type of
Mhm.
coaches that we are. And we're not just gonna like settle for the bare minimum. Like that ain't
Yeah.
it. That
I
ain't
like
it.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it's first of the month. Well, first Wednesday, the first
Yeah.
the
It's the
first
first
Wednesday.
of the month.
What stuff are you looking forward to this month? Like personal, and then
Okay,
we'll talk about
April.
podcast.
So James's birthday is the 24th of April. It's also my parents' anniversary. So like they can one never forgets the other. It's always like really funny. Um so he will be 28. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I want to plan like a little day for him. Like I'm not big on celebrating my birthday. It's like a lot of pressure. It's like New Year's Eve or Valentine's Day to me. Like there's so much stupid fucking pressure to like show up a certain way. So I love other people's birthdays because I like to make them special. So
Mm.
I'm excited for that because we'll probably do like either like a day trip or like a weekend trip somewhere, and it's going to be getting warmer, and I just need like the good vibes, and his birthday is always like really good vibes because I just like love pouring into him and just like making it like all about him because I feel like he doesn't do that enough for himself. um
Men.
Men, yeah, men, I'm just like, let me just like take care of you. Like I just love to take care of you. And
Mhm.
maybe he has only gone to get a pedicure with me once and he was like, "Oh my God, this is fantastic. I love this." So maybe that'll be like our like we'll start the day doing that. And
Uh-huh.
his giant ass, he's like 6'3.5", whatever.
Okay.
He can't we last time we got a pedicure, he was like so weirdly stretched out. Like his foot was like halfway off of the footrest. I was like, "Oh, we need to
Uh-huh.
like go somewhere that is for like the tall people
Tall.
because like his foot is in this like poor lady's face and I'm like, I am mortified. I am with a
Uh,
giant here and I am mortified. But he loved it. He was like, wow, I feel so
hmm.
clean. I was like, slay. So
I shake my head because I'm like, I wish Joel would do that, but he
yeah,
hates people touching him, so he would
yeah,
never.
yeah. I
But
actually
I'll go
hate
ahead.
pedicures, but
Really?
I don't, yeah, I don't like people touching me, but I love the product of it. Like I feel
Yes.
cleaner. I look
Yes.
sexy. I got a red toe polish on. I'm always going red. Like if you're doing any other
Mhm.
color, what are you doing? Like
Mhm.
red on the toes makes it sexy because
It
toes
does.
are not cute. So we got to cute them
No.
up.
Yes. Agreed, agreed. Funny the color thing, my sister and I constantly talk about, like, the color palette and what's your season,
I love
and
that. I
I
don't know how to
know.
read it. I'm always wrong.
You always look good in this, like, green, that kinda
Oh, I do?
colors. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that. Maybe
Okay.
but I think it makes your eyes pop. But she said because we are very, very similar in color, maybe a tiny
Yeah.
bit different, but she said I think she said I'm a true slash, bright winter. So, I'm really
Ooh.
good in, like, winter. So, this was, like, maybe a little bit brighter, it looked better, and also the lighting in here is not fantastic, but I'm gonna start, like, buying more of that stuff because it looks better on your
Oh,
skin.
it looks so good. Because you know what? I want to wear yellow. For some reason, I am drawn to that color. I look
Uh-huh.
like shit in it. And
Well, yeah.
I just look sick. Like it
Mhm.
does not complement whatever's going on here.
Uh-huh.
But I love that. Like I need to pay somebody to help me with that
Same.
because I genuinely on those TikTok videos, I can't tell what looks better. People are like, "Oh, wow, you're pop this that." And I'm just like, I don't actually know what I'm looking at right now.
Like, I am colorblind, basically.
You know what? It's actually a low key crazy because we just painted our living room and I
Uh-huh.
picked a creamy color. Like the base of it, it has it's a James says like it has a tint of gold in it, so it's creamier. And it looks like blue to me. It looks like it has undertones of blue. My dad painted
Mhm.
it. He's like, I do not see that. James does not see that. His stepmom, his grandma, my mom. I'm like, I what the fuck is wrong with me? Like maybe it's me because I am seeing this room has a tint of blue. Like it looks cool to me. And I'm like,
Mm.
I didn't fucking pick this color because I wanted cool. And James is like, I'm not seeing cool. So
Mm.
it might be me.
Yeah,
It might
maybe
be
you
me.
need to get a test.
But everything else looks normal.
Mm,
Like, I don't
yeah.
know. Is it the blue eyes because they're like more sensitive, or is it just like I'm deranged and I'm looking at it and it looks different and I'm just
Like,
crazy?
the latter.
Yep, yep, that's fine.
What
What are
do
you looking
I
forward to?
um, well, I have my shooting class, that's always fun.
Oh,
That's it's always a good time. What else? What else do we have? Oh, getting getting that living will done. Getting that done. We talked about last time. Oh,
no,
the
I
difference.
can't. Yeah, we actually need to talk about the difference because one, I just think you're kind of crazy for doing it because like it's really
Why?
funny.
Why am I
Well,
crazy
just
for
not just the optics of it. Like you're a young, healthy woman, but this is the time when you should do it, right? Because you're healthy, you don't have to think about it in the future. But it's just funny because for I would venture to say most of society is not doing these things. It's not proactive. It's not thinking about it. So just the optics of it, you're like,
Yeah.
I am getting my will ready. Like you're this young, vibrant, like person. And it just is funny, but it's actually really smart to
Right.
do it now, but it also makes me think of like death. And then that is just like, I don't know. Are you scared of dying?
Mm. I don't know because I'm I'm hoping it would just be like quick, like boop, I'm just like, oh, I'm dead, you know. But I do think about
Yeah.
sometimes like what is on the other
Where do you
side?
go?
Yeah,
What
I do think
happens?
about I think you can like I think anyone who even who's not nervous about death can like get into those spirals thinking like what happens, you know, and just
Yeah,
like
I don't like it.
so yeah, I don't like sit there and like think about that. But I
Yeah.
think I to me it was more necessary to get our living will, all that stuff done because we had businesses
Yep.
and those things like we're not letting our stuff go to like the government, the state.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
believe if you don't have anything, like it has to be like somehow the government gets involved and you lose money on things. People are paying tax on inherit. So it's just
Okay.
like
Yep.
it makes more sense because we have businesses and so does Joel. So that way we get things squared away and things have a place to go and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I can't find the text that I explained the difference between a living will and a will.
Well, isn't a living will, I believe, is basically like if you are in like a coma or if you're brain
Oh
dead.
yeah, medical. Like your
Yep.
power of attorney is like your medical stuff. So if I'm a veg, cut the cord. Don't even try to keep me alive. What's the point at that point? I firmly believe that. What am I
No,
gonna do? Be on a ventilator? Like
I agree. I agree. I feel like that would be one of the hardest things for like your partner or a family member to have to do. Like, because like, yeah, like like if you are like brain dead and like you are medically not going to come back, I'm like, you know what, I'm an organ donor, just give them to people who need
harvest.
them. Yeah, harvest, just take them out of me, it's fine. um but just the anxiety of it being like, oh fuck, I'm the one that's saying, pull the plug, that would stress me out. But also, like, if it comes down to it, I guess I gotta do it because I'm gonna have a husband, so might as well be the
Yeah.
one in charge of that shit, not let some crazy person.
Right, right. So yeah, it's that kind of stuff. And then who is the like financial power of attorney, who's
Right.
handling that stuff, So we started like drafting that with a lawyer. So that was fun. So hopefully we'll get that done this month. Um yeah. Oh, I'm going to see my sister. I'm leaving at the end of the month. So that will also be fun, celebrating her
Yeah.
birthday in Colorado. I don't think I really have anything else happening other than those two things. So,
You've never been to Colorado, right?
no.
Neither have I, and I want to so so badly. Like it just looks so beautiful. It's just
She
like,
loves
oh,
it. She
I
says
bet.
they walk everywhere, everything is dog friendly.
Oh,
The apartment she lives in, like they have like a coffee shop upstairs.
yeah.
Everything is free. She's like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just going to get a coffee." I'm like, "Oh, I can't wait to work up there." Like she goes, "Oh, it's so
Yeah.
nice. There's rooms, there's this. It has like a sauna in her apartment." Like it's I know. I was like,
I
"I
love.
cannot wait to go. I'm so excited." So I'll be there for like a month or so. So I'll be like all of my May. I know. I'm excited. So that's what I have going on. Podcast wise, next week we have our episode with my BFF Lindsay. That's gonna be such like I don't know why obtuse came to mind. Not obtuse, just I don't know, different. A different style of
Yeah.
podcast because we brought her on because we talked to Cassidy, which that episode dropped just like 2 weeks ago. And we got into some conversations about religion, and we're going to be talking a lot about that with Lindsay. And that's I'm excited for the drop.
I'm really, excuse me, I'm excited because I feel like I so freely talk about my views on religion, and I've never really talked about it. Like we've talked here and there like on the podcast, but like I've shared with you, I'm very open like about just kind of like my experience and just like all that. And so I'm excited for this because like it is totally a different uh type of conversation that we've had. And I'm sure that we have some listeners that like are religious or maybe they're not. And you're like, okay, is this podcast going to be for me? It's just an interesting conversation. Like
Mhm.
it's I would say between the balancing of the conversation, you end up at a neutral point. Like,
Wait, I do or we've
no,
all.
no, the episode itself, like the religion is talked about and then atheism is talked about, and you get to a point where it's just like it's neutral. Like it just it's like a net zero. But I thought it was really interesting, and I'm excited to actually like be a viewer and listen to it. My favorite thing is
Yeah.
listening to guest episodes.
Mhm.
Um because as we're talking, you say things, it's off the fly, whatever, and then you go back and you're like, wow, I missed that part. Like
Mhm.
that conversation with Cassidy when she was like, you can cut this out if you want. And I was like, no, 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 this is staying in.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, listening back to that, I was like, "Ooh,
It
that
was
is
good.
good. She's good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So I'm really, really excited.
Yeah.
Um, And with all our guests, we always say like we need to have them come back on because truly we don't even touch the surface. Like,
No, it is very beginning level of stuff because, like, we want to introduce them to you guys, and then we have one thing we're like, oh, we want to talk about this, and then
yeah,
we go into tangents and dig into stuff, and
you
we
know
don't want
us.
to, yeah, and like we don't want to make this when we have guest pod interviews like to be like question answer question answer. We
Yeah.
want it to be an actual conversation,
Yeah.
and not just like so bland and dry. So half the
Yeah.
time we don't get to all the questions because we just go into tangents.
And honestly, the tangents are interesting. Like
Yeah.
I'm always like if there is a thought, I'm going to follow it. I'm going to see where it's going. Sometimes it's
Mhm.
good. Sometimes I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck am I even saying?" Like that was just like a bunch of word salad and I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
So I love following the threads and honestly, it makes it like much more interesting. So I am super excited for you guys to hear that. And Lindsay was just like really, really just fun and good energy. Um,
Mhm.
and we love that. Like we just want to bring good energy to the podcast. So if you guys are listening to this on listening or watching, if you're on YouTube, comment below. Yes, you want us to talk with
Yes.
or DM us. Like we want to bring people that are interesting and fun and sweet and cool and all of the amazing things because we like to have these conversations and we want to share interesting conversations with you guys because as much as like we love to hear ourselves talk, which we do, I think it's also just so I love guest episodes. They're so refreshing.
Yeah, and next week we are recording with my current mentor. She coaches, yeah, mentors me on functional health stuff, and we're going to be talking all about poop. So I'm excited for that. That's going to be a
I
fun one.
love, I love, honestly, one of my clients, like a couple years ago, she was like, I love that you always ask me about my poops. And I'm like, yeah, yep, you're welcome. I was like, that's it. Yes, thank you for that text message at like 8 in the morning. I love that that's what
Yeah,
I'm thought of as.
I
And
want to know.
genuinely. And so
uh,
that conversation is also going to be like, it's going to be interesting in a different way. Like, and this is what I love
mhm.
about our podcast. Like, we can bring so many different people from like different walks of life and have these just like insanely interesting conversations, like of
Yeah.
all topics.
Yeah, you know what? Funny you
Love.
say that because I'm notorious for sending Allie TikToks, and I'm like, "We need to talk to
Mm.
this girl."
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
are 2 probably more than that, 2 other people. There was a girl, and I'm not gonna name them because I don't want it's not like it's not definite if we're gonna have this person. I
Yeah.
didn't even, like, DM them yet, but there was 2. There was a solo traveler. She's a Black solo traveler, and I was like, "Oh, that would be so cool to talk about how she travels as a
Yeah.
female around the world." Also, being African American, like, that has to be a little bit on edge for various
Yeah.
countries that you're going to. I'm like, "That would be a really
Yeah.
interesting conversation because I love to travel." I
Yeah.
she did a tip on I saw, safety in a hotel, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yep.
that's, like,
Yep.
just general knowledge," so that would be cool, and then, I saw another person talking about scams and, MLMs. I'm like, "Oh, I would love to talk about that." So, like, we
Yeah.
have a vast array of things we are interested in and,
Yeah.
wanna talk about. So, yeah, like I always
Yeah.
said, drop a topic or something you want us to talk about.
Yeah, and people's names. If there's like specific creators or other podcasters, like drop them. Like well, we're always just like shoot your shot. Just gotta like shoot your shot. If they
Yeah.
ignore you, okay, whatever. Like I'll try
Already
again.
I
Yeah,
got ignored. How many times I've gotten ignored, it's fine.
it's fine. Like I have just the worst fear of rejection. So being ignored is just right there. Just hits you. No, it doesn't actually. The fear of rejection, true, but if someone just like leaves me on red, yeah, it's like whatever. I'm like,
It is
okay.
what it is. Why don't we
I'll
jump in?
just text Maddie. She'll answer me.
Like, "Hey, I need support."
Hey, just
Um,
like answer my text. Like I just hi.
why don't we jump into our listener question segment? We're gonna have a cool name for this
Yeah.
eventually. There is no cool name right now. It's just the listener segment
Yep.
question segment.
Questions.
And this we were gonna cover, like, a few episodes ago, but it just was something that was going to take more time to talk about, so we wanted
Yeah.
to have we wouldn't not be 60 minutes in and be like, let's jump on this question.
Right.
Um, and the question was, how can I make progress in my workouts, making them harder, whatever it is, when I am either just limited to like just my body weight or just like a few weights?
Mm-hmm.
And I love this question because I just got an update with my programming to where we're focusing on more tempo work.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, tempo work is the most humbling exercises you can do. You think you need your, 100-pound whatever back squat? You do not. You need like 2 pounds. and
Literally.
and right now I'm on this tempo. So let's say, again, you don't have a lot of weight or you just have a set of dumbbells. When you do tempo work, you are doing more time under tension. And that's when we build muscle. So, what's an example of tempo work? I would always go body weight first. Just try, let's say we're doing like a squat, right? And you are doing a goblet squat, which is holding a dumbbell, in your hands and you're squatting. I would just go to a regular body weight squat. The tempo that I'm currently on, you can do any tempo, but I'm doing a 4-second descend. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, holding for 2 at the bottom. And then you can do explode up, explode all the way up. So like no tempo on the way up, or you can do a tempo ascend, and I'm doing 4 seconds up with a 2 second pause again at the top. So my booty cheeks, my whatever muscle I'm working on, push-ups or whatever, it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
Freaking hard. Like I went from floor push-ups to a very high incline push-up. And that didn't require anything, right? You can
Right.
do incline push-ups on your couch, on a desk, on whatever. That's like one of my favorite things to change up my programming, get a different stimulus, or if I'm traveling and I don't have access to things, doing a couple weeks of tempo work truly, truly is a game changer, and it's very humbling because you're like, I am weak.
Yeah, it is, especially when you brought this question up, it made me immediately think of when gyms were closed down
Yeah.
during COVID. I had multiple clients be like, I am trying to get bands off of Amazon. I can't get anything. And I was like, okay, that's fine. What do you have around your house? Like, do you have laundry detergent? Do you have like a thing of cat litter? Like, what do we have around the house that has some weight to it? And then let's also work on changing tempos. Let's work on
Mhm.
using your body in a different way. And nobody, nobody complained. Nobody was like, this is too
Mhm.
easy. It was all very hard and humbling,
Mhm.
but it just, it goes to show that we don't need all these fancy equipment and having, this crazy gym membership. Like if you are at the start of your journey and you just want to start exercising, you want to see changes, you don't have to be limited, right? It's
Mhm.
kind of more about in a way getting creative and then also not comparing yourself to like what everybody else is doing or what you're seeing on Instagram. People just like lifting so fucking heavy at the gym and like wearing their cute little outfits. It's like, okay, like that's great
Mhm.
and all, but like if that's not what you have access to, you can
Mhm.
still see results. And like Maddie said, anytime we are mixing in tempo work into my splits, I'm like, oh, I am dead. I am dead. It's hard
Yeah,
work.
it is hard work, and like you said, it's what you have access to. I mean,
Mhm.
the my program Start to Lift, that's like the biggest, I would say, selling point of that is that you need your body, some bands, and a pair or two of dumbbells. Like, and
Mhm.
I have women in there that were using cat litter, that were using laundry detergent bottles because it's heavy and they can
Yep.
use it and it works perfectly fine. So, you
Mhm.
know, it doesn't, your ability to get stronger, your ability to change your body, yes, of course, it's, limited to what kind of access you have, but this is truly stuff, tempo work that you can do wherever, whenever with whatever you have. I mean, I have clients doing push-ups at work, on their lunch break because they didn't have time to do them earlier or whatever it is. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's like one of my favorite things to add in when we are limited in what we have. Like I can only go up to 10 pounds. Cool. Let's do a 4-second descend and ascend and then tell me how you feel.
Yeah, right, right. It's not always about needing to buy more or,
Mhm.
you know, stress yourself out by trying to get all this gym equipment or
Mhm.
making it to the gym earlier before work or after work or somewhere in the crazy day. Like work with what you have. Be
Mhm.
realistic and let's just train smarter. We don't need to sit there and do 8 million reps just because you don't have a lot of weight. We can do
Mhm.
tempo work and you're going to feel it more. It's going to be more challenging. That is going to give
Mhm.
you that that those results that you're looking for versus, one thing during COVID was also like this. I never followed or saw anything but like Chloe Ting's workouts. Um
Mhm.
and it was like on either YouTube or TikTok or something, and people were like freaking obsessed. But then there was a quick burnout. I like saw all these videos for like 2 weeks and then I saw nothing of it. And I think with the difference between like weightlifting or just body weight and resistance versus like different types of classes or specialized workouts or whatever. There is never a burnout with weightlifting because you can always change something up. You can always add in something fresh. You don't need specifics. You don't need certain equipments. You can use what you have access to. And that's what also like an amazing thing about like focusing on your health in that way. You don't have to have loads of money to, go to the fancy gyms, get the cute workout outfits, get all this equipment. Like you have your body, you can start somewhere. You can make things harder for yourself when, like you learn tempos. You learn that you don't need all of this fancy stuff. You learn just to kind of be disciplined, right? Like, because
Mhm.
especially like when you don't have a lot of equipment or whatever, you might be like, I just like, it's inaccessible to me. Like, I'm never going to see those results versus like being disciplined and being like, yep, I wish things were different. I wish I could be in the gym but I want to lose weight. I want to get stronger. I want to be able to be like running around chasing my grandkids when I'm like 70 years old. So I'm going to like do this work now and it might not be like super fun or cute, but I'm going to do it because like I know what the end result is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I have a home gym. I did not I didn't wake up one day and have a full home gym. Like
Mm-mm.
it took time to get all that stuff. And at one point we only had dumbbells. We just had a barbell. We didn't have any kettlebells. We didn't have a lat pull down machine. We didn't have a barbell rack from day one. It all took time to get there.
Yep.
And you can slowly make those investments to get more equipment over time.
Yep.
And I didn't have all of it at once. So it just took time to get there. And now my workouts sometimes include lat pull downs, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's pull ups or whatever it is. So there are numerous ways to skin a cat, like they say. You can still, you never heard that?
I just don't like that. That is just it makes me like
Sorry.
cringe. It's okay. Like, and I really shouldn't be one to talk. I'm not like a vegetarian or even a vegan, but just the thought of like skinning a cat is just horrible. But yet I eat chicken and I
Yeah.
eat turkeys. So I guess I really don't have a leg to stand on that one.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of, I have this huge turkey in my freezer right now.
Oh,
Um, I know, and I really want Joel to cook it, but he hates like taking it apart. And I didn't have like Thanksgiving this year because I was in Mexico,
right.
and they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, obviously. So I was like really had a hankering for like turkey when I came home in December.
Ew, I can't. I can't.
uh,
You cook some crazy ass slabs of meat. Like you're always showing these big ass things, and I'm just like, ugh,
oh, oh yeah. Well,
never,
that's
no,
because we get it from a farm, so.
no, 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 no. I can't. I like die when I'm cooking, like when I'm like cutting up chicken. Like I
Mhm.
just take my kitchen shears and do. Ugh. Like I can't. I have to like be so distracted. I can't breathe in through my nose. Like I can't. I literally die. Like I got the ick from shrimp like 6 months ago and I haven't been able to eat it. I'm devastated, but also nauseous. So like I
Uh-huh.
don't know. It's literally horrible. So that's my like big thing. If I'm cooking and I'm about to put it like on social media, I have to make sure like you can't see like anything raw.
You're such a drama queen. Have you ever
It's
seen the
gross.
it is gross, yes, but have you ever seen the TikToks of predominantly white people that like straight up spray Dawn on their raw chicken?
Is that
What
a
are
joke?
PSA, you don't wash raw chicken. That spreads more bacteria and potentially salmonella. You don't wash it off. You just
Is
let it
is it
drip.
a joke though? Like with the Dawn dish soap, are they just like that's are you stupid?
One, I kind of hope it isn't a joke because I hate to see people waste food.
Well,
So
it's also just
I
I
almost
feel
hope
like
they were dumb enough to do that, to be honest.
so, people are dumb enough because on Real Housewives of Beverly Hill, like Beverly Hills season one, Adrienne Maloof, uh,
Yeah.
she had LVP Lisa Vanderpump over to like help her show her how to cook a meal. And Lisa was like, okay, it was like a whole chicken. She's like, okay, we're gonna wash the chicken. She almost like put soap on it. She's like, no, no, like just like rinsing it. So I do think maybe people that are like inexperienced in the kitchen, maybe when you say if you're washing the chicken, maybe that's they really are like, yeah, like of course I'm gonna put soap on it. That's washing it. But like, oh
No.
my goodness, never could be me. Wouldn't do that. But oh God.
Mm.
Would I put I wouldn't I'm a good cook, okay? Go ask my man's. No, I am a pretty good cook, but I just don't love cooking all the time. Like it's just like ugh, it's a chore. I'm like, ugh. I
It
wish like I could
is.
just like have a private chef, right?
Oh my god. You know I made it when I
Mm.
have a private chef. What other services do I have? A maid.
I
Oh
mean,
man.
oh,
I would love to have a maid.
someone to
Would
clean the litter box.
you don't like
That
do it
just
on and
that
off with James?
no, he literally and this is what I tell him. I'm like, when I'm pregnant, one, I can't clean the litter box. And then
Yeah.
two, I will not be the only one changing diapers. And he's like, no, I get that, but I'm just really grossed out and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, okay, well, like
Mhm,
put a mask on if you don't like the
mhm,
smell, or I don't know what to
mhm,
tell you. So until I'm knocked up, I will clean the litter box. And if I'm away, he does it, but like he
mhm,
has never really been around children, like babies, like infants.
mhm.
I'm like, have you even held a newborn? He's like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, we're on the
That's
total
weird.
opposite. Like, I
Yeah.
have been around like babies my entire life. Like, I always knew I wanted to be a mom. Like, I started babysitting when I was like 11 or 12.
Uh,
So like it doesn't really gross me out. Like nothing really like in that realm grosses me out. It's just like, oh God, it's like so annoying. Like I just hate cleaning it because then like you gotta like clean it and then vacuum and then replenish it and do the whole fucking thing. And I'm just like, ugh, like I love you boys, but you are so stinky.
yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, that's why I don't want to get a second cat because I'm just like,
Yeah.
more work. No.
Yeah.
I'm good
Yeah.
with one.
Honestly, it is. I thought it was gonna pass. It's like so annoying because we have two litter boxes because like
Mhm.
they say like if you have two cats, you should always have
A
a
litter box
neutral
per
zone.
cat.
Well, no, they say a neutral zone. So like one cat has a litter box, so you would have two litter boxes and then a neutral. And I'm like, bitch,
What?
that's a lot. I'm like, that's a lot of
Three?
litter. Yeah. And I'm like,
Oh
they
my.
they kind of use their own. Like they'll either
That's
both
kind of funny.
use it's yeah, or sometimes like I notice like they use one to pee and one to poop.
Oh,
Like
wow.
they're really weird
They're
and I don't
sophisticated. They're like, this is a
you know
shitter. That's
they're something. They're something. But they get like does like Remy get really embarrassed if you walk in on her like going to the bathroom?
yeah, that's the situation we're dealing with right now because I moved
I'm
to
dead. You're like, yeah, it's actually it's kind of something that we're experiencing.
it is because we had one with a top, a lid, And
Yeah.
then that lid slowly started basically decomposing, like the not like like
Yeah,
breaking. It
yeah.
started
Yeah.
breaking, like the little click that you would put the lid on, click it on. They all started falling off. And then I was like, I want to switch her from like the sand litter to like the pellets. So
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
I we get her litter at a Tractor Supply store. So
Love
it's like
Tractor Supply for the chicks. They're
it
so
is
cute.
Oh, it is $7 for this huge,
Oh.
huge bag of wood, like pine pellets.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and that's what we use, but the contraption, the litter box that we got, it's just big enough to where the sawdust comes through
Uh
and they don't go through, but there's no lid that's on it. So now it's like I walk in and I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like it's just awkward. Like I shouldn't be seeing you do this, like drop a deuce right now. Like
Do not put a damn lid on her litter box.
what
Would you want to poop in a cave?
Yeah, privacy. You wanna
I
poop out in public with everyone watching?
I don't think they care. I do think that she cares. Does she look at
I
you with
feel
like a
like
look?
I don't know, I just feel like it's just awkward for everyone. Like, I just feel like I feel like for my own protection, I need and it just feels like when they're, like, you know, doing
Yeah,
their little I just
yeah.
feel like it doesn't go everywhere, but then when she jumps out, there's I'm like, "Ugh," it's just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we need some kinda thing switched here. I don't know yet.
I'm dead.
We're getting there, but, oh, before we keep talking about cats and cat litter 5 ever, what did you wanna talk about with you saw Real
Oh,
Housewives?
yes. Okay,
Oh,
so
wait, real quick,
you need to take your
I need to take my the contraption. I'll go off
yes.
screen.
Go off screen to take my supplements. So there was a scene in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, this is several years ago, but I always see it being like reposted and shared on TikTok or Instagram. And it was a tagline. And what is her name? Joy. Joyce? Joyce. I believe her name was Joyce.
Mhm.
And her tagline, get ready for this. And she did not pick this. Like this came out at the reunion because like they will pitch you several, right? Like maybe like an intern at Bravo will help write for you and you'll come up with
Mhm.
something, but they are going to pick like usually what sounds the best.
Oh, I
Okay.
didn't know that.
So at the reunion, she talks about this, but the whole season you hear every intro, you can never be too young, too thin, or too honest.
I thought it was too tan. I don't know why I saw too thin. Or didn't see
Yep.
too thin. That's even worse.
It's cut off like with the 10 right there. But I
Uh,
remember that's the thing. You can never be too young, too thin, or too honest. And
wow.
people were up in arms about that because, like, yeah, like that's a really
You can be
crazy
all 3 of
tagline.
those.
Right. Like that is a crazy tagline. And she
Yeah.
is like a beautiful woman. Like she is fairly thin. She just was like one of the girls that I feel like they were like she was put on the show for like people to kind of like hate her,
Like the
which
villain?
not even be the villain, but just like, oh, Joyce thinks she's like all that, and like just like she was just so like she was like kind of like think about like the it girl, and just like people like
Okay.
hated on her, and just like yeah, like not really very nice to her. And now I would like to go back and watch it again and just kind of like overanalyze because I love to do that. But
Mhm.
that tagline I always thought was like so crazy because there have been some like stupid taglines or funny taglines, but I just think it's so toxic given like the demographic of like people that are watching Bravo. And I remember hearing it for the first time and I was like, oof, like that was kind of weird. And you think, oh, she probably picked it. She probably had some say in it. And then she's at the reunion. She's like, I didn't even want that. She was like wanted something about like being charitable or like some shit. But
Mm,
they ultimately, they're like, well, this is going to do better. This is probably going to get more people talking. And I'm just like,
yeah.
God damn, like another fucking just like trope about like, you know, wealthy women and needing to be thin and young and just like not allowed to age, not allowed to like look
Oh, yeah.
any other way than like being like young and perfect. And it's just like, my God, like it is just so cringy. And she was like a one-hit wonder. She wasn't on the following season.
Mhm.
But I was just always left with like a weird taste in my mouth. I was like, why would they like do that to her? So then it's like I feel like part of it was just like setting her up to like not look the greatest.
Yeah.
Cause like I feel like anybody with like two brain cells can be like, that's kind of that's a weird tagline. Like we can probably come up with something better. Like it's better when they're kind of funny and like shady.
Yeah.
But that wasn't
Yeah.
shady. It
No.
was just like, oh, you can never be too young, too thin, or whatever, too honest. And it's just like, okay, all right, okay. A little weird.
I had a burp from taking, like, 6 pills, and I didn't wanna get that on there, so hopefully it wasn't. Um, but yeah, that for some right now, there's, like, all this stuff coming out about Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider and how he got Amanda Bynes pregnant at age
Uh,
13, so this is why Amanda Bynes is struggling the way she is because she was basically raped at age 13 by Dan Schneider, who worked for Nickelodeon. So the reason why I bring that up is that because when I think of like, couldn't it be too young? I think of predators, like
yep,
people taking advantage of kids,
yep,
which I am like, for some reason, is like my tagline for life. I protect the children. Don't want children, but
yeah.
protect the children.
Well, but
But
that I don't even think the two have nothing to do with each other. You can be child free because you don't
oh,
want to
right,
have children, but like
right.
you're also just like a fucking human being who like gives a shit about other people,
100 million
you know?
percent. So it's
But
like my brain, the too
so
young
sad.
goes to
Yeah.
like that. People
Ugh.
taking advantage of people or just
Yep.
really big like age gap
Yep.
relationships that like creep me out. Like anytime who is it? Leonardo DiCaprio. He's always dating like some
Oh,
young
as
20
soon
some
as
year
they
old
turn, like, I think it's as soon as they
26.
turn 25 or
Oh god.
26, as soon as
Yeah,
they
that's
turn in their 25th year, it is like he ends, like, breaks up with them a lot. And I remember because my friend, like, jokingly texted me, like, when I turned 26, she was like, you're officially now too old for Leonardo DiCaprio.
that's
And we were
funny.
just like, that is such, like, freaky behavior. Like, dude, you
Yeah.
are old. Like, so the too young part, yeah, like that is gross. And
Yeah.
especially like, in Hollywood, and this is reality TV, it just like again perpetuates that trope of like
You
it's just
have
like
to be
creepy.
yeah. And
And
then I
that
also think about
documentary, have you watched it? I know this will be coming out a little bit later,
mm,
but I'm gonna watch
yeah.
it tonight, I think.
I'm gonna watch it. I was tempted to start The Valley today.
Oh, also pretty good, I have to say. It was pretty
Okay,
good.
but I'm on a good on Summer House, a good kick of Summer House right
Oh,
now. So I'm
good
finishing
too.
Summer
Good too.
House. I'm on season like 3 maybe. But anyway, so my brain went to like that side. And then also when you
Yeah.
think about like never too young, it's like we're always chasing youth. And like
Yep. Yep.
I fall into this category for sure. Like I'm afraid of wrinkles, I'm afraid of this, I'm afraid of that. And like, it's like finding this, happy medium. Like again, like I feel like I'm always repeating this as a 20 year old into 21, couldn't walk. I am very, very grateful. I have a very able body now. So like sometimes I have to like humble myself and bring myself back to reality. Like, oh,
Hmm.
not too long ago, you were really
Yeah.
sick. So I try not to like get too hyper fixated on these things, but it's really easy when we're constantly being
Yep.
inundated with stay young, do this, do that. And with TikTok, I mean, it is rough out there. Like when it
Hmm.
comes to like, even, like which made me so mad, I have seen so many, I don't know what you call them, like, facial specialists who, like, perform Botox. What do you call them?
Oh, it's like a med spa,
Yeah, something like that. But
like they're like like nurses that are like also
yes,
estheticians.
yes.
Okay.
Using Chelsea from Love Is Blind and saying how they can fix her face because she
Oh,
has
I hate
and
those videos. It is
it's so
so,
rude. It's like
yeah.
I'm not taking a video. This is exactly what it would be in the health industry, right? So these
Yep.
videos are of people showing this is Chelsea and here's her issues. Here is how I would
Yep.
fix them. Okay.
Yep.
Imagine a health coach putting up a video of someone who has some weight to lose and showing them in the gym and be like, this is how they're doing it wrong. This is what I would have them do. And this is how they can look if they follow my stuff. That's
Yep.
exactly what it is. That's so freaking rude. And I was just like, I would
So
be mortified. Mortified if someone did that to me.
I would be mortified and I would feel so betrayed because this, when you're working in any sort of industry, you want to make your clients feel so supported and that like,
Yes.
you know, their their privacy is respected and there is a level of professionalism because
Yep.
if I got all the plastic surgery in the world, maybe I don't want to tell people. Maybe I want my plastic surgeon to shut the fuck up and be professional or my injector, like maybe they don't want to
Injector.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So I've seen those videos and there was one, I don't know if it's the same creator, but it was with Natalie Dreyer from Stranger Things, and she has like a very defined jawbone, and that's like she is so beautiful, and that's kind of a thing that's like characteristically her. Like she just
Hmm.
has like this gorgeous, like very defined jawbone. And this one injector is like, how I love to inject like the masseters and like kind of calm them down a little bit. She literally made her look like handsome Squidward, like what the edit would have been. I'm like,
Please, you have to show Natalie when you
yeah,
do this back, and you need to put handsome Squidward. And not
yeah.
like obviously we're not saying she needs to look like that, but that's what the person did.
It was like she literally this woman is beautiful on her own. This is unsolicited. Nobody's
Mhm.
fucking asking for this. How dare
Mhm.
you? And also and the way that you were going to inject her face, now she looks like every other freaking person that has a lot of injections. Like I'm like, you took away all of her unique beauty
Yeah.
characteristics, and it
Yeah.
just is it's so weird. Like imagine if we did that. Oh, lose a little fat here. Oh, tighten up the ass here. Like we would be like canceled off the face of the internet.
You know what would be so fucking funny? If we did, I might do this, maybe don't steal it, but it might take me too long to do it because it just
Write it
sounds like
down. Yeah.
steal Maddie's idea, viral content. If we literally did ourselves but cover our face, this is our one client, this is what would happen,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It would get a ton of views. It would
Yeah.
get that's what they want, a ton of hate. But like
Yeah.
again, like who's gonna trust I
And
wouldn't I could
I
not
don't
trust
even
someone like
think
that.
I don't even think most of the people that do these videos think they're doing anything wrong because they'll be like,
I
she's
know.
so beautiful, and this would just enhance her beauty. And it's like, you changed her whole fucking face.
You
And
know who that's
not to
acceptable to do on?
mention who?
Good.
No, no,
Cartoon characters.
yeah.
Non-real people. If
Yeah.
you wanna do that, do it on or make up a fake person and be like, "This is how I would fix" that's, like, the only acceptable way. Make up a fake person from on
Yeah.
ChatGPT or whatever and be, "This is how I would fix this random cartoon." That's the only acceptable way to do that.
But even the word fix, I
Yeah.
find
Yes,
I find
I agree.
is because maybe
Enhance.
through the lens of your eyes, you might look at somebody and say I would I would want a more defined chin, or I would want less fat in my cheeks, or I would want Botox or whatever. So again,
Mhm.
these injectors are just making they're projecting their own shit and like trying to like make a perfect face when it's like, okay, well, like
Yeah.
it's all about perception. It's the weirdest videos. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, they used to be like, I haven't seen one come across my FYP in a while, but like they used to be hot and heavy. And it was like, which celebrity do you want to see next? And it's like, ugh, like,
Oh, I know. I don't
bro,
like
what if
that. It's
somebody
just
did that to your face? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
imagine you're scrolling on TikTok, you're a celebrity, and you're like, ooh, just scrolling. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, that's me. oh gosh, she's making a video about how I need
Like, do
all of
I need
these
to get that done
procedures.
now? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough. I mean, like, I get comments all the time about how big my nose is, and like, I understand.
Who?
Oh, yeah, men,
Like
middle-aged, gross
on like
men.
the internet?
Yeah, usually on YouTube. I get a lot of them on YouTube, to be honest. And I get it. My nose is
Wow.
crooked. Like, I am aware of the goes this way, actually. I'm aware my nose is crooked. It's been crooked forever. Don't know why. It's just how it is. And I get that it's a bigger nose. Like, it's a nose. Like, it's Italian nose. But if I was scrolling through and saw a plastic surgeon show how to make my nose better, one, I'm not going to hire that person. And two, like, just keep stabbing the wound to make it worse. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
not, I don't know, it's not going to make me take action in a positive way. And this just makes me think about like how when you have family members or friends that are like struggling to take back their health, when you see them, let's say to for simple sake to make this super easy, they have a lot of weight to lose and they're sitting and binging on a candy, taking that food out of their hand, be like, "You fat F, like stop eating that." Like
Yeah.
that's not going to make them want
Yeah.
to feel better. It's not. It's
Yep.
going to make them be like, "I am fat and gross and I'm just going to keep sitting here and eating."
Yeah. Yeah. God, it is so, it's so, so crazy because they can do, these injectors, they could do really great work, right? You could help somebody, with something they've been so insecure about their whole life, let's say, but you're
Mhm.
going on TikTok and you're just like doing again these unsolicited like makeovers and it's like
Yeah.
it's so weird. Like is your business not doing great because you're going out of your way to like
Mm.
make it fucking even worse because now I would never go and hire you because like I'm
I
afraid you're gonna
know.
like fucking put me on blast and be like, yeah. So before Allie came to me, she, had a wider this and the wrinkle and all this sort of stuff. And we just did do. And now look at her. I'd be like, oh my God, like Jesus. Now I feel like even more self-conscious. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and just like that's not how we even talk about our client success. Like, great example, I
Yep.
did a live with my client Anita in my Facebook group last night, and in there, I gave her questions we were gonna talk about. I asked her, "What were you struggling with? What kind of things
Yep.
were you like, 'I'm frustrated with this'?" I didn't say, "Anita came to me feeling like a slob, she was lazy as hell." No, I let her speak for herself and talk
Yeah.
about what she was comfortable with. Like,
Right.
that's how I don't know, that's how I think if we wanna show client progress, like, me and Allie, like, we're not gonna sit there and talk about how terrible and lazy and blah of a person they were. Like that's not helpful. I don't know. I hate like punching down on things. Like
Yep.
just I don't like that when it comes to like health, beauty, whatever.
No, I don't either because it doesn't help the person, right? Like in our
Correct.
case, when we're working with women, and I've worked with women that have lost significant amount of weight, and yet they still, there's still a period of like, wow, like I'm not used to being this size of a body. This, feels different. This is an adjustment. It's not my job to be like, yay, you lost all this weight. Yes, you're down on the scale. This is fantastic. Like before, you were doing all of these bad things for your health, and now look at you. You're just amazing and perfect. No, like that's fucking weird. That's not my job. My job is to help them reach their goals. And then also like I'm gonna validate. Like if you have lost 50 pounds, you're now living in a different body. And that is hard. That is different. It is an adjustment. And it just goes again back to the Real Housewives things like you can never be too thin. We live in a society where like thinness is really like the beauty standard, except, well, if you're thin, you need to have big boobs and a big ass. But then maybe you just need to be really thin and like have a flat chest so that like you can wear the cute little tank tops and you don't have to wear a bra. But then you're supposed to be really curvy. But then it's like, okay,
Mhm.
whoa. Like it's a lot. Like our job is not to sit there and to critique or to bash old habits or whatever. It's just to like really uplift our clients and to
Mhm.
give them a place of like understanding, especially because we've been in situations where like when we finally saw success, we had results, we were like, wow, I feel really good. We probably still felt like, oh man, like why did I ever let it get so bad? Or, oh man,
Mhm.
why was I not taking care of XYZ? Like we've been in those moments. So with the health, beauty, wellness, the whole fucking uh business as a whole, because that's what it really
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
We just need people need to be kinder and like
Yeah.
just not be so again black and white of like going on TikTok and making a video and being like, if you want these results, then you need to, we're gonna trim this fat here and we're gonna get on the treadmill for this amount of time and we're gonna inject your jawbones and like all this crazy shit. Like again, back to the top of the show, it is much more nuanced. And man, those videos clearly they trigger me. They're so
Yeah.
upsetting. They are upsetting. I like can picture this like woman's face in my head, and I'm just like, lady, if
No,
someone
I
did that to
agree.
you, you'd be fucking mad.
They 100% would be. I agree.
hmm
Was there another TikTok thing or that was the only one?
Oh, last one. The she is a nutritionist. And I shared a video with you, but I always see her on my For You page. And
Mhm.
she is somebody that has lost, I think she like says over 100 pounds. And the way that she keeps the weight off is giving red flag, right? So she was going to get like froyo with, I don't know, her kids or whatever, her family. I have no fucking idea. And she's like, these cups are huge. And a way to get around that is we're going to fill it up. Like the cup was mostly filled up at the bottom with fruit. There was barely any frozen yogurt on top. She was sticking to like really, in her eyes, healthy toppings. And to me, red flag because I like to teach my clients that you can have a dessert like frozen yogurt and it is not the end of the world. It is not going to derail you. We don't need to hack our way into eating frozen yogurt, right? We can just exist and like go on a date night and have some frozen yogurt and maybe it's more than you would normally eat. But it's like not very often. Another thing
Mhm.
she does is like she like has this like cinnamon roll hack and she like makes it
Mhm.
basically the base out of like egg whites.
Okay.
It's gross, it's weird. Does that sound appetizing to you? Like thinking of like what a cinnamon roll should taste like and then thinking a way to like make it like high protein and healthy. I don't even like to say the word healthy, just
Mm,
high protein and like lower calorie.
yeah. No, it doesn't sound that appetizing to me, but I feel like when it comes to health, but first thing is, are we gonna start like showing the video while we're like, should we pause
Shit.
to?
Yeah, you know what? We will have to do that. I'll have to have them pulled up and then we will share screen. We'll do that next time.
Well, no, I mean, can't you when you're editing the video, like, can't you just?
I can. I will do that
Oh wait, what's
right
the other
here.
way?
I was gonna say as we're talking about it, as we're recording, you guys, this is what you're seeing. I can show it as we're live talking about it. So like I could pull it up on the screen. I would share my screen, you would see it, I would see it, and then we can talk about it.
Oh, I feel like that would just look like crappy video quality now, unless like you
I
know
don't
how
know.
like oh,
We could
okay.
try it
Yeah, we
next
could
time.
try it
Next time we'll
next
try
time.
it. If it looks crappy, then we won't do it again.
Okay, that's fine. I'm like, yeah, I love that on podcasts when they like show it and they're like watching it. Like that's always helpful. But okay, back to what I was thinking. I feel like everyone kind of gets to this point on their health journey where kind of what you're doing is like blurring the line between like this is like healthy and this is like more of like a disordered eating pattern. Like
Yep.
where is the line here? What it's getting a little bit blurry. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying her how she was saying right to fill up on like the fruit, right? And keep the stuff for last. I'm not saying that's disordered eating patterns at all, but you know, there comes a point where some of these habits are not sustainable, and
Mm.
just learning how to enjoy something and move on with your day and not
Mm-hmm.
stuff yourself until you want to throw up, that's a valuable tool to have. And if you
100%.
have and if you haven't learned that yet, you're always going to struggle with like consuming food in like a sustainable manner.
Right. And it is such an important tool because I could be wrong in remembering this, but I believe she said in one of her videos about the cinnamon rolls, like, ever want like a homemade cinnamon roll, but you don't want to stop at one? Like my like inner fat kid, like, wants to eat the whole thing. So I'm going to show you how to make a high protein, lower calorie cinnamon roll. And while that might be something that someone chooses to eat if they're struggling getting protein in and they don't mind egg whites. But if you're wanting a cinnamon roll, I want to teach you how to enjoy the cinnamon roll, have one, and move on. And
Mhm.
to not have to make a protein hack, not have to worry about, oh shit, I should have a protein shake with it because all of my meals need to have protein, like for every
Mhm.
single meal. Like I have to follow the guides perfectly. Like, again, not sustainable. What? Like on your wedding day, on, your kid's graduation party, at, a backyard barbecue, are you going to be able to like enjoy food that's there, be able to enjoy a dessert, a hot dog, a glass of
Yeah.
champagne, and be able to move on? Because with a lot of these habits and things that she is showing, this is not real life sustainable. It's not, because
Yeah.
it's just not realistic. Like, we can't be bringing these weird ass fake cinnamon rolls to a party and just like eating as many as you want because you want to eat more. Like, that to me is just
Yeah.
like, I don't care how much weight you have lost. I don't care that you've kept it off. I want to look at the deeper relationship with food that's happening, because I know that like being able to go and I got there's a Dairy Queen by us because like no other ice cream place is open right now. So I was like, oh my God, I'm craving ice cream. I got a mini Blizzard with Reese's. Did I want the small because it's a little bit bigger? Yeah, but I'm also in a dieting phase and I was like, you know what? Let me eat this and I'll have something for dinner and it's gonna fill me up more. But I had it, I was satisfied, I moved on, right?
Mhm.
I want people to be able to do that and not have to like think about, okay, I'm gonna fill this bowl up with like mostly fruit and like a dollop of frozen yogurt and like pretend that this is going out for frozen yogurt.
I mean, that's what you wanna do. You can do what you want, but
Yeah.
I think we're just bringing home the fact that some of these things are not sustainable for everyone, and learning how to remove eating your favorite foods that taste so freaking good, and that when you're eating them, you're not thinking about how nourishing it is for your body.
Yeah.
Being able to eat them and not feel guilty, that is essential to learn how to eat and be able to move
Yeah.
on, if you want to maintain weight loss. Because if you don't got that, having guilt when you're eating your favorite foods for the rest of your life, like, that's not good. That's
No.
not a good feeling. You're constantly gonna
No.
be thinking about, "How can I make this up? How many calories do I need to skip tomorrow? What can I
Yep.
do to burn off said calories?"
Yep.
That's a skill you need to develop to learn how not to think that way.
Yeah, and I would love to talk about this next time, but there is this one dietitian that I love and I don't remember her name, but she always does these little like skit scenarios, and it's like the macro bro or the intuitive eating person, and they're always kind of like looking at each other and being like, I wish I could do that, I wish I could do that. And then she's like, in this current version of herself, she's like, yeah, like I'm gonna have like whatever. I think again she was eating a fucking cinnamon roll. Why is everything around cinnamon rolls? But she's like,
That sounds good
yeah,
right
no,
now.
like I'm you know what, I'm super happy, like I'm just gonna have this cinnamon roll and like move on, and it tastes good. And if heating
Mhm.
up your, your Quest protein bar and, kind of making it like a brownie, if that sounds good to you, then sure, do that. But to me, that doesn't really
Mhm.
sound that fulfilling and doesn't sound
Mhm.
that nice. So I'm going to have the cinnamon roll. And then my next meal, I'm going to, eat what my body needs. It's kind of like eat what you want and then also eat what your body needs and finding that balance. But I feel like her page is like, because there are a lot of like dietitians on TikTok that I feel like are red flags. Her page is very safe and she like actually gives really valuable and helpful and sustainable information.
I like that. Yeah, I've seen some red flaggy ones. One of them I was like, okay, you might be a little green. And then recently it has come out she's a red flag. So I was like, okay, never mind on that one. Let's
It
take that
has
one off
come
the
out.
list.
She is a red flag.
Cross her off that list.
She was giving yellow flag and then it went straight to
Oh,
red.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? I know we've been in this freaking hour, so I don't want to, go on forever. I know
I
you do.
don't, yeah, I mean, like I could just sit here all day. No, I think just, to bring it back to kind of tie everything with a bow, health, fitness, your nutrition, everything is nuanced, right? Just because you see
Correct.
somebody doing something online, eating a certain way or working out a certain way, don't take it just at face value, right? And it's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard not to do that because you might see somebody living their life a certain way. It's on TikTok and you're like, "Wow, I wish I could look like them. I want to do
Mhm.
what they do." Well, we
Mhm.
don't know what's going on after the camera is off. So
Mhm.
everything, question things, get curious, don't take it for black and white. Um and that really is the key to living a healthy life long term, is not
Mhm.
viewing things as good or bad or black and white or healthy or unhealthy and
Mhm.
trying to find this middle ground.
What
Um,
is sustainable for you? That's what you are trying to
yeah,
find.
yep,
Because for me, if someone looked at me and like, I want to eat gluten-free, dairy-free, like if I didn't have to eat gluten-free and dairy-free,
yeah,
I wouldn't, but I
yep,
have to given my health conditions.
yep,
So, not everyone's what they're doing is not gonna make sense for you, and they may freaking hate their I don't hate my life eating gluten-free, dairy-free. It'd make it a hell of a lot easier if I wasn't,
yep,
but it's not like I'm making all my clients do that because I do it. Certainly
yep.
not. Certainly not. So, yeah, I like what you said there about that because it's finding what makes sense for you and what is sustainable for you. That is like your goal for whatever you're doing, whatever hobbies you have, your health, your job. You don't have to be the career woman, boss babing it 24/7. You can do your 9 to 5, clock out, and be done. I'm jealous of those people sometimes, not gonna lie. 'Cause
Literally.
you might have you slightly healthier boundaries of work than we do. But but that's that. Um, only other thing I want to add is that I have spots open for coaching, 5 spots. Might have four. Someone applied yesterday, so time is ticking, people. I will put the link for that, and that's for one-on-one coaching. So I have all different types of coaching packages with that. So that's all I have to add.
Fabulous.
Okay, thank you guys so much for listening. You're watching the kind of hot, kind of healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us so we can reach more women just like you. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and what are 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD at gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.